All right. Well, here we go on the video side, starting the podcast audio. We're going to be ready for a little episode of Food About Town Bites. Here we go. I'm Chris Lindstrom, and this is the Food About Town podcast.
Rochester? Well, why Rochester?
Chris Lindstrom was a hoot. He was just so much fun. He never stopped talking. I mean, it was great.
Here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
And we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear?
Because I'm a pro. That's what pros do. I'm a professional. Look it up in the book.
But now, I'm thinking I'm back.
And we are back with another episode of the Food About Town podcast. Happy New Year to you and your families. And this is Food About Town Bites to start off the year. So kind of want to go through some updates that are going on with Food About Town, a couple notes on Lunchahdor, a little New Year's resolutions, and a little preview of some trip reviews I'll be doing very soon. So just want to dive right into Food About Town. So I think 2024 was a decent year for the podcast. Not as consistent as I'd like to be. Ended up spending a lot of time on Lunchahdor itself. And towards the end of the year, really ramped up, production on Food About Town with more episodes with the help of a booker who's been helping me, book a little bit of the shows, help with editing from Matt Austin, which has been just great. But a lot of work to do to keep on improving Food About Town. First, I want to tell you about some recent episodes I'm really happy with. In December and late November, had episodes with Crisp Restaurant. That was a delight. Just great to talk to. Lucas from Baytown. We ended up tasting spirits. I always enjoy doing that. And I think we had a really good conversation about spirits and, about the store and everything else. And one that I'm really proud of was a 2-part episode with the whole team from Nominate. Obviously, everybody who listens to this knows that I did work on Nominate for 3 years, working with small minority-owned restaurants around Rochester. And it was great to sit down with the guys and really talk through the experience from top to bottom. We got a little bit behind the scenes so people can understand the whole thing in a bit more of a rich way than they might not have known while we were running it. I don't think we always did a great job about getting behind the scenes and telling the story of Nominate as well as we could have. But I'm really proud of the episode we did, really proud of the whole run. So if you haven't listened to that yet, really recommend you go do that. And they'll do the whole like and subscribe thing. So if you aren't subscribed to Food About Town, do that wherever you listen to your podcasts. And this will also be out on video as well if you're listening on the podcast feed. So more to talk about video in a few minutes. Just wanted to open up the floor. So if anybody has any guests you'd like to see on Food About Town, if you have a topic you'd like to hear covered, definitely let me know. I'm taking feedback from everybody on what they'd like to see, what they'd like to hear. And talking about the goals. Goal for Food About Town is 1 episode a week in 2025, plus at least a reel from the episode, a clip showing something interesting from the episode. Probably more than 1, but I want to really hit 1 a week. And that means we'll be talking more. And some of it's going to be live stream versions. So we have, some software with Lunchahdor called Restream that I'm likely going to use for some of these recordings. Really helps with some of the video stuff that's ramping up and also allows me to live stream and hopefully grab the recording for later. So if that's the case, we might do some of these Food About Town bites as live streams where people can give feedback live while we're doing it. So if that all works out, that's what I'd like to do. So TBD on that. Let me know if that appeals to you. Doing like Instagram Live or YouTube Live, or depending on the software, TikTok Live. And if it gets banned, you know how that goes. And then, as I mentioned, video in the progress of setting up more robust video in the studio now. So I'm using one of the cameras for this that's going to be on for the individual seats in the studio. And in the corner, you're actually seeing the one-shot video that we've started to use for social media clips. So just working on the setup, trying to make it better and better. Got some big old lights in the studio now that are helping to make the video just look a little bit better. Actually, let me see. Can I pivot over and look at that? Let's find out. Oh, there's one. Yep. So there's a big old light over there in the bottom right corner if you're looking at the video. But working on improvements, and that's all I can ever really do is say, hey, we're going to be better. We're gonna try to be better all the time. So something I did want to bring up to everybody that I'm still working through the details on, but I wanted to start to get feedback on it is I was thinking about a big project in 2025, which is getting a little more active on social media, short form video, which to me involves something unique, not just repackaging the podcast as social media clips. That's obviously going to happen still, but I'm thinking about doing a project where I go down a whole street and check out all or almost all of the food and drink establishments on there. The one I was thinking about doing first would be the Park Ave project, which be to go to almost every place on Park Ave that's food and drink related and doing short videos. So it won't be reviews like I used to do on City or on Food About Town early on. I don't necessarily want to do it as reviews. There will be some review like content involved. It's not going to be straight PR, so I'm trying to figure out the actual format for it still. Um, and I'm debating, if I'm going to go to every place or if I'm going to exclude certain places that I don't want to go to, not because the food is good or bad, but I don't necessarily believe in the establishment. I'm not 100% on that yet. So um, if you have opinions on that, let me know. And really, I do want honest feedback on that because there are some places that, I wouldn't choose to go based on things that we all know about certain places. So, give me feedback. And if there's a specific night that would work better for people, I was kind of thinking Thursday nights for lives because that's a night I'm usually available. Um, so we'll figure that out. But this kind of opening the floor to everybody as we start to be more interactive going forward. Just wanted to throw out some Lunchahdor notes for people that have been part of shows on Lunchahdor or involved with different things. Kind of want to throw out some events that are coming up. So this Friday, Joshua Taylor, who was in the second group of Behind the Glass alumni in 2023, has an exhibit at Ugly Duck on First Friday. Great place to go, check out some artwork in a casual way. City Newspapers Best of is at Radio Social. I think it's at Radio Social. Check the Facebooks or whatever to confirm. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the Best of is coming up, and two of the shows on Lunchahdor are nominated: Anomaly Presents and Refined Taste. For the last time for Refined Taste, because Refined Taste is no longer a podcast at all. Dario's pivoting that feed over to Think Global, Act Local. First episode as a preview is out on that feed already. If you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it. It was really good. It was with Ginny Ryan, who Dario knows from his day job. So really excited about what he's doing there. We also have multiple people up for Best Photographer that are involved, in the network. I know Richard Cologne is. I think Quaje is as well. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think Dario's nominated for Best Comedian. I think Chris Thompson might be as well. So Lunter is representing at the Best of event in City. So hopefully I will see you out there after I go visit Josh's exhibit at Ugly Duck. And I'll be hanging out most of the night. So come say hi. Also, Behind the Glass second anniversary is on January the 10th at the Mercantile on Main. Lunchahdor will be out there with a live podcast recording at the Mercantile on Main. We'll have a whole setup with with mics. I believe we're going to set up with video. We might live stream the whole thing as well. So if it all works out, I have ideas. If it all works out, I think we'll have video for the whole thing, and we might just live stream the whole event that we are sitting there talking to lots of different people that participated in Behind the Glass and are supporters Behind the Glass and Lunchahdor. So we'll see how that goes. We're also continuing to record audiobooks / podcasts for In This Moment. I know they've started to mention that we're doing that. More to come on that soon. Details about when that's going to get released. I know they have their next event, I think on January 27th, coming up at the Eastman Theater that we'll definitely be at. And hoping to have a launch episode before we start doing the audiobooks with the team there. But we're really excited about that project. It's something we're already really proud to be involved with that. And, turning these into audiobooks that are more accessible for people with visual impairments. And hey, sometimes people just like listening to audiobooks, and also they'll be released as a podcast as well, getting back all the way to the beginning over time. So really excited to be working with them, and more news to come on that. So let's talk about New Year's resolutions for a minute. I try not to do too many of those things because waiting for an arbitrary date always seems arbitrary to me. So something that I'm focusing on this year is growing Lunchahdor. So I think we had an amazing first year. We did a lot of great stuff. And my goal is to continue to grow. So growing into more video in the studio here, more partnerships in the community, launching new shows, and doing some mini series with fascinating people. So more to come on all that. Got a lot of irons in the fire right now that I'm excited about, but not quite ready for prime time. The other one is taking care of myself a bit more. I can't accomplish the goals I have without actually taking care of myself. And it's multifaceted, is not being as hard on myself for sometimes not hitting what I want to do. Yes, taking care of myself physically more, getting sleep. Shout out to Paulie Guglielmo, who doesn't sleep ever, with a new kid, and also does as much stuff as he can do. Ryan Jennings kind of the same way. We've talked about this stuff recently. So trying to get sleep, trying to eat well, trying to take care of myself physically so I have the energy to do more and feel like I can really do what I think is needed to make this to get where I feel like we should go. I've had some great conversations with Matt Austin, my other my co-founder in Lunchahdor, and we're so excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. I think the only other one is to continue to travel more. Not high impact, huge trips, but just getting outside of Rochester, getting excited about visiting new places, trying new things. And it's easy to get into routine. It's easy to get into routine of going to the same places and taking for granted the things that are in our city. We all get there sometimes. I try not to do that as much as I can, but there's something about traveling that makes you appreciate where you live more. So I had an amazing year of travel this last year. And there's going to be a couple trip recaps coming soon for mini episodes. Maybe we'll do those as live records as well after I figure out how to do it. So in December, I ended up going to Chicago and also spent a few days in Flushing, Queens in New York City. So those discussions I think will be really interesting, especially if other people have been there and want to talk about it. So that's about kind of what I wanted to cover today. I'm going to try to keep the minis to a tighter time frame, under 15 minutes. So we'll leave it there. If you have other feedback, other thoughts, you can reach out to me on social media, Food About Town Podcast on Instagram. You can email me, foodabouttown@gmail.com, or, put a review on podcast platforms. It does matter. It does help. I hate saying it, but it does matter. So hopefully I'll see you out at some of the events. And First Friday this week, Josh Taylor's event at Ugly Duck, City Best Of, and I really hope to see you in person at the Behind the Glass second anniversary event on January 10th. We'll be back next time with more on the Food About Town podcast.
This has been a presentation of the Lunchahdor Podcast Network.
Another year, as many podcasts as you can handle. All right, now the video. We're going to close that out. Thanks for joining us on the video side, and hopefully we'll have a lot more for you very soon. See ya.